From the John C. Hench Production Arts Studios in Peoria, Illinois, VideoMax Limited presents Midstate Magazine with your hosts, Kayla Neitz and Kyle Peck. The news with Aaron Morden and Danielle Heimski, featuring your Midstate reporting team. Sports with Katrina Baumgartner. Get Real with Nikki Garabrandt. Stephanie Robbins is on the beat. State of the Arts with Brooke James. Rebecca Williams is in the spotlight. Anna Tassi takes us about town. And About Crew with Noel Method. And now, from America's friendliest city, Midstate Magazine. Take it away, kids.
Good evening and welcome to Midstate Magazine. I'm your host, Kyle Peck.
And I'm Kayla Neitz. Thank you for joining us. Now, Kyle, you're from California. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, you said something's going on there right now.
Yeah, California finally got a day of a rainstorm, basically all around.
And that's kind of been long awaited, right?
It's been long awaited. This has almost been the fourth year where they've had a drought, like for centuries in California.
Wow.
And some hated it, most liked it. But the best part of it was that the Yosemite National Park's water reserves have been filled up because of the rainstorm. So
okay,
that's
good.
Nice.
Okay, yeah. And do you know, do they put any restrictions on people for like watering their gardens?
They do that for everybody, but the problem is that not everybody follows it.
Gotcha.
And it just keeps growing in drought time.
Okay, I see. Well, I heard something about a lake actually recently in Australia where they found a great white shark in it. These men were fishing and they found a great white shark in a lake.
What?
Yeah. And that obviously makes me never want to swim in a lake again, because how is it getting in there? I don't know. But
I was just going to ask about that. How did a great white shark manage to get into a lake?
I don't know, but they said it was about 8 feet long, and it could grow up
That's huge.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm swearing off lakes forever. Let's stick to swimming pools.
No.
But now we've got some other interesting news coming up with Danielle. Let's check out with the news team.
Good evening. Welcome to Midstate Magazine. I'm Aaron Morden.
And I'm Danielle Heimski. Let's take a look at the news.
As consumers shop for toys for the little ones this holiday season, consumer advocates are warning parents, caregivers, and family members to be mindful of toys that could pose hazards to small children. The U.S. Public Interest Research Group released its 29th annual Trouble in Toyland report. It reveals that despite a ban on small parts in toys for children under the age of 3, toys for that age group are still available in stores and online that contain parts that are too small and pose choking hazards.
A congressional aide who called out the first daughters is resigning. Elizabeth Lawton, a communications staffer for a Republican representative from Tennessee, took to Facebook to chastise Sasha and Malia Obama. She said the girls were dressed for a spot at a bar and told them to show more class and respect. Her criticism stemmed from their appearances at last week's annual turkey pardon. Lawton took exception to their attire and facial expressions. She later apologized via Facebook and now says she sees more clearly just how hurtful words were.
More than half of infants in the U.S. are sleeping in unsafe conditions in their cribs, according to a new study from the Center for Disease Control. 54% of babies are being put to bed in cribs containing blankets, pillows, and other loose bedding, which the CDC says greatly increases their risk of sudden infant death syndrome. The number is down from a high of 86% in 1993, but the CDC said there is still a long way to go. Researchers say babies should sleep on a firm, tight-fitting mattress with no pillows, blankets, or quilts.
Local shelters and animal lovers are uniting to bring harsher penalties to animal abusers. Regina Robards, 43, is facing 2 misdemeanor charges for her role in the death of 2 dogs in Pekin. If she's convicted, the maximum penalty would be a year in jail for each charge, along with a fine. But a local advocates say that's not enough. Robards' landlord, Loretta Rochim, has experienced the horror of finding 2 dogs decayed to the floor of her rental house. While she's always been an animal lover, seeing something so gruesome is making her take action. To sign the petition, visit her website at yousignanimals.org. Robards is out on bond and was arraigned in court this morning.
It is now clear that Democrat Michael Farrick has won the race for Illinois treasurer. The State Board of Elections has certified the results from last month's election and declared Farrick the winner by just more than 9,200 votes over Republican Tom Cross. It was the 3rd closest statewide race over the last century. The Farrick campaign attributes the victory to independents in central Illinois, who usually vote Republican but went Democrat this time.
Natural disasters have caused more construction in central Illinois. Nikki Garibrandt has more on that in Washington.
On November 17th, an EF4 tornado tore through the town of Washington, Illinois, and afterwards, this house was barely left standing. But that didn't stop homeowner Carrie Cronky or the rest of the Washington community from overcoming this disaster and rebuilding their hometown.
We just knew that we were going to rebuild, and in fact, in the area that we live, everybody's rebuilding. We never considered not rebuilding, and I think that's a really cool thing about Washington. It's very much of a community.
Even though Carrie's house wasn't completely destroyed, there was enough damage done to make it too unsafe to live in, so it had to be torn down and is now being rebuilt.
We went upstairs and we still had walls and ceiling, and every window in our house blew, and so there was glass everywhere. Our garage door was shut and there was a wall there, but both those things were gone. And so we could look across the street and our neighbor's house was gone and everything down the street was gone. I think everybody's just excited to rebuild, and in Washington we really know our neighbors, and everybody, you know, they're helping out, and there's lots of organizations that have done things. Restaurants have donated food, and so it's really drawn Washington together as a community. It's really been amazing. I can't imagine living anywhere else in central Illinois besides Washington.
In Washington, for Midstate Magazine, I'm Nikki Garibrandt.
Thanks, Nikki. Now let's go to Katrina for sports.
Thanks, Danielle. Darren Maloney will be inducted into the Peoria Rivermen's Hall of Fame. Maloney will be introduced as the newest member of the Hall on December 27th against Columbus. The 42-year-old played 350 games for the Rivermen in 5 seasons. He was the captain for all of those seasons. Maloney played a total of 48 playoff games for the Rivermen and scored a total of 37 goals and had 124 assists. The athlete also had an all-star season in '98 when he scored 10 goals and had 27 assists in 69 games. He will be most remembered for his hard work and dedication to the game. The Illinois State Redbirds are going to the football championship subdivision playoffs. The Redbirds are going in as the 5th seed out of 24 teams. The ISU team went 10-1 this season and set a school record with the wins. As the 5th seed, the Redbirds will have a bye for the first round of the playoffs. Illinois State will play the winner between Northern Iowa and Stephen F. Austin. The Missouri Valley Conference is going to have a very good showing in the playoffs. The MVC is sending in 5 schools to the playoffs. Besides the Illinois State, other NVC teams include Northern Iowa, Indiana State, South Dakota State and perennial powerhouse, and North Dakota State. North Dakota State is hoping to repeat as champions for the 4th straight season. Kansas City Chiefs starting safety Eric Berry has been placed on the non-football illness list. He has been placed on the list with what team officials believe is lymphoma. When the Chiefs lost to the Oakland Raiders on Thursday, Berry complained about chest pains late in the game. He then went through an X-ray, MRI, and blood tests for team officials to decide he has lymphoma. Berry will continue tests at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta. An MRI revealed the mass in his chest on Friday. Berry addressed his teammates before leaving to go to Atlanta and released a statement through the Chiefs organization. In the statement, Berry thanked his teammates and fans for their support. Berry also vowed to be back in the NFL. That's all for sports. Back to you, Danielle.
Thanks, Katrina. While most shoppers across the country took advantage of Black Friday deals, some Colorado residents celebrated Green Friday. Businesses opened early Friday for the state's first official shopping day after recreational marijuana was legalized in January. Retailers like Denver's Grass Station and Medicine Man stores offered $1 pre-roll joints and 80% off early bird specials. In addition to rock-bottom prices on marijuana, stores offered discounts on pot-infused foods known as edibles.
That's a very interesting way to get the holiday season started, I must say.
Yeah, that's one way to be cheerful.
Well, that wraps up news for the week. I'm Katrina Baumgartner.
I'm Aaron Morden.
And I'm Jill Haimski. Have a great night, and be sure to join us next week.
Thank you, news team. I'm so glad they covered a little bit about the Washington and their recovery since last year's tornado, because it's always really amazing to me just to see, you know, even in the face of tragedy, the community will come together and kind of unite after such a horrible, horrific thing happens like that.
Yeah, it's nice to see that happening.
Yeah, absolutely. But of course, this time of year always brings the nasty flu, which brings a little bit of controversy about the flu shot. Do you get it? Do you not get it? I'm curious, what do you think? Do you usually get the flu shot?
I mean, at least like once every 2 years, but it's usually not a problem for me.
So do you not typically get it, or you just?
I just don't typically get the flu. But
I gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I've always been a little bit iffy about it because I've been nervous about the fact that if you do get the flu shot, you could still get the flu. And I'm just like, I don't know. But let's see who we've interviewed for About Crew.
Hi, Tim Fluga here with About Crew. I'm replacing Noel this week, and for our last About Crew, we're going to go not into the studio, which is usually the room that you see at Midstate, but instead we're going into Master Control, which is the true heart and innards of Midstate magazine.
I basically handle all the electronics for the Midstate magazine show. During news shows, when they go to packages where reporters are on the field, that's my job to get those videos ready to be on air. And I basically prep the show.
Along with learning how to prep a show, Ian has also learned something very important.
You work with a lot of people and you learn teamwork, because a whole television show, you need to work as a team to get everything done.
And by working together, they create something that only a member of Midstate can describe.
What I look forward to when we come shooting for Midstate is just seeing the show progress. I love seeing those little pieces that we filmed throughout the week just start clicking together. And next thing you know, we have a half-hour show that we put on the air.
With About Crew, I'm Tim Fluga.
Thank you, Tim. I love when we get some recognition from behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of About Crew, 3 of our own members of Midstate Magazine are going to be in a play you were talking about.
Yeah, it's a collection of play called New Faces, and basically it's 10-minute directing scenes that are created by the directing class. And it's going to be on Friday night and Saturday night at 8 p.m. It's $5. It's going to be in the Hartman Center, the theater building, but not on the main stage. It's going to be on the second floor black box.
Okay, cool. And who of our Midstate members are going to be involved in that?
There's Noel Mefford, Anna Tassi, and Ellen Rhodes.
And yourself, correct?
And myself. Well, I'm directing one of them.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Okay, very cool.
It's basically it's a play called Waiting for the Matinee, and basically it's about these 2 women, Noel and Anna, who are my actors, are going to be these people who are just waiting for a matinee show to open, and they're just basically waiting.
Very cool. I'm excited to go and see that.
Now let's check in with Rebecca on In the Spotlight.
I'm Rebecca Williams, and this is In the Spotlight. 2009 Britain's Got Talent contestant and now superstar Susan Boyle has her first boyfriend. At the prime age of 53, this singer has a man in her life. Her new man is an American doctor she met while on a promotional tour in the U.S. and Florida. Boyle claims he is the perfect gentleman. The 2 went on a romantic lunch the next day after her show and had such a lovely time, they decided to put a label on it. I guess good things do come to those who wait. Calling all Star Wars fans, good news for you. The new trailer for Star Wars: The Force Awakens has been released and everyone has been buzzing about it. This is the first installment in the new trilogy, but features some original stars including Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and more. Celebrity self-proclaimed Star Wars nerds tweeted up a storm when the trailer came out, including Pitch Perfect star Anna Kendrick, who said, "Star Wars, language and emojis fail to express what's in my heart at this moment." Needless to say, lots of people are excited. The movie is set to come out December 18th of 2015. Country superstar Hunter Hayes was featured in this year's CMA Country Christmas special on ABC. This talented heartthrob not only performed Merry Christmas Baby, but also surprised a well-deserving fan. Through the Make-A-Wish Foundation and Macy's Believe campaign, one of Hunter's lucky fans, Courtney, got to spend time with the musician, singing his songs together, and even getting to sit front and center for his performance on the Christmas show. It was a heartwarming and memorable Christmas for her, I'm sure. For In the Spotlight, I am Rebecca Williams.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Speaking of people in the spotlight and in the limelight, why don't you tell us a little bit something about what happened to Ariana Grande at the Victoria's Secret fashion show?
Well, she was at the she was a guest artist at the Victoria's Secret fashion show, and one of the models, Angel's Wings, almost smacked her in the face.
Wow.
And she was lucky enough to dodge it and actually avoid that happening.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she avoided it before possibly falling off stage.
Oh wow! So those
Yeah.
must be some pretty industrial wings if it's actually hard enough
It's
to.
it's some pretty big wings. Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of scary. That
Yeah.
could have really hurt her head.
Yeah, I'd rather not have that happen to me.
Right,
Too, if
but
I were in her shoes.
Someone else that was actually performing was Taylor Swift, and I believe she was nominated for the next year's February 8th Grammy Awards.
Really?
Yeah, her and Iggy Azalea, a bunch of other people too.
That's awesome.
But this time of year always brings some really delicious food. So let's see what Tim cooked up for us in Let's Eat.
Tim Fluga here with Midstate Magazine. This week, we're in Campus Town in front of the field house, and well, that should explain just about everything. So, I'm hungry, you're hungry, let's eat. The field house is a bar and grill, and like many bars, there are tons of things hung up on the walls. The field house likes to focus on sports though, and more specifically, Bradley sports. A large amount of school pride goes into the field house, as you can easily see from all the artwork and jerseys. Next you see the bar, which is full of wonderful things for the older variety. Since I was on the clock, this reporter wasn't able to enjoy the fair, but next time I come, I will more than make up for it when the cameras are off. Finally, we get to the menu, and I don't know about you, but I love bar food, and what's better than a classic cheeseburger with the works? Well, anything with bacon, that's what. So I got bacon cheese fries as well. The meal was good, as you can see from all these clips of me engulfing fry after fry. Anyways, I would suggest you come out to the field house. For Let's Eat, I'm Tim Fluga.
Thanks, Tim.
Well, that just shows you don't have to go too far to find something delicious to eat, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But if you do want to go a little bit farther, I just read a story about a family of 3 who the mom found a way to travel to from Paris to the Bahamas, over 100,000 miles of travel, airplane miles, and she's taken 19 different vacations virtually for free.
For free?
Yeah, and basically what she does is she's got the credit card, which will rack up points every time she uses it, but instead of just using it every time she flies, she goes on the airline's website, and every airline has a portal where you can click on either Nordstrom's or Target, and if you buy it through their portal, you'll get points every single time you make a purchase. You could buy your groceries on there.
Really?
Yeah. So she has flown, taken 19 different vacations for a family of 3, almost for free.
That's incredible. I want to do that.
I want the card, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's check out the latest with music with Stephanie on The Beat.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Robbins with On the Beat. It takes a special kind of music to go on screen with the courageous Katniss Everdeen, but the soundtrack for Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 is up to par. The album features 14 tracks, mainly consisting of electronic beats. The songs on the soundtrack are produced by a variety of artists, such as Charlie XCX, Tove Lo, The Chemical Brothers, Lorde, and more. Lorde actually has 3 tracks on the album herself, which include Flicker, Yellow Flicker Beat, and Ladder Song. Her unique sound fits in well with the thematic elements of the Hunger Games. Jennifer Lawrence even joked that Katniss would be a huge Lorde fan. The soundtrack also includes a song featuring hip-hop artist Ariana Grande. This song, All My Love, has a more upbeat rhythm than most of the songs on the album, but still mixes in very well. The album is in the top 10 on the Billboard charts for soundtracks and in the top 20 out of all the albums on the charts. All the songs on the album reflect an overall theme of gaining hope while overcoming a difficult past. This theme is very relatable to the character of Katniss, which makes it a very unforgettable soundtrack. For On the Beat, I'm Stephanie Robbins.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Now, Kyle, have you seen Mockingjay?
I have.
And did you like it?
Oh, I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay, because yeah, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about it. How it was kind of boring, how it seemed like a really long trailer.
I don't know, for me it's more of the subtle moments that make it more important than all the actions and explosions, because we see that a lot. I like the tension and the anticipation and the buildup of that.
I see, and that was one of the biggest complaints. You know, there's not enough action in the movie, but it was a part 1, so they are trying to build it up for part 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was kind of impressed with the movie, but another movie that's really big right now is Interstellar. Have you heard of that one?
I have, but I have not watched that one yet. I want to.
I'm going to warn you. I won't ruin anything, I promise, but it is 3 hours long. And it is a good movie. Matthew McConaughey is the lead.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey is fabulous, but it's a very long movie, and I don't know if you want to sit through that the entire time.
Christopher Nolan's the director for it. He makes his movies really long.
Right. Well, let's go to Brooke and see who our special guest is on State of the Arts.
Hello, and welcome to State of the Arts. I'm your host, Brooke Janes. Today, we're excited to welcome the Hilltop String Quartet. This group of Bradley University students performs in weddings and other functions in the Peoria area. Most recently, the quartet performed Schubert's Death and the Maiden at Dingledine Music Center on the 6th. Here to represent the group is Julie Herring. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
So how did you guys get together?
Well, we actually signed up for a class. It's just called Chamber Ensemble. And our teacher, Marcia Henry, now she's the violin professor here, she just arranges the group, so she put us four together. And so it's been our first semester together.
Okay. Has it been working?
It's been working pretty great.
That's good to
We're
hear.
great together.
And what kind of performances do you do?
Well, we do the annual string chamber music concert each semester, so I guess it's semi-annual. And we also perform at weddings in the Peoria area, and recently we did a dinner where we played during the dinner for an Easter Seals tribute dinner.
Nice.
That recognized a Bradley board member, actually. So that was fun. We got to take a nice picture with President Glasser.
There you go. Those are always
Those are
proud.
great.
I still have yet to get mine, but someday.
Someday. But yeah, so just different events around the area.
Perfect. And what are you going to play for us tonight?
Today we're going to play two holiday tunes
Okay.
that have done on the concert. Still, 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 and We Need a Little Christmas.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful. Well, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little taste, you can just pull your mic off there. thank you so much for playing for us. That was beautiful. That's all we have for this week. Join us next week to see more talent from the Peoria area. For State of the Arts, I'm Brooke Janes.
Thank you, Brooke. I've always been especially impressed with violin players because, I mean, you put your hands on a piano key and it still sounds pretty. You strum guitar and it still sounds pretty, right? You start doing the violin, you don't know how to do it. It sounds like a dying animal. It's like really bad. You have to really be talented to make that thing sing.
Oh yeah. But that was really melodic.
Yeah, that was beautiful. But you know, this time of year, there's always lots of things to do, lots of festivities. Do you have anything? Have you heard of anything cool going on?
Well, there's a bunch of interactive winter light events going on. A couple of Christmas plays, like Christmas Carol at the Goodman Theater.
Okay.
There's a couple of gingerbread house competitions. The most interesting one that I hear is there's a Frozen camp going on for little girls and boys from like 3 to 11.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, it's like a 2-week process where like 3 to 7 and 8 to 11, it's just 1 week chunks where it's all Frozen.
Wow.
It's all the Frozen movie and everything Frozen related.
Taking the, you know, being a fan to a whole new level. Now you get to be in a club for it.
Pretty much, yes.
Wow, that's very cool. I actually always do gingerbread contests with my family or my friends, and it can get pretty obnoxious. Like,
I'm sure.
People are throwing things at the other gingerbread house. It gets very competitive. Do you ever do anything like that?
I have done stuff like that, but not to that extent where it gets very violent.
Yeah, you don't want it to get to that extent. It's just not fun, you know. Blood is shed. It's a nasty thing.
No. But one thing that I would want to do is to ice skate. I haven't ice skated in over 13 years.
You're kidding? Oh, I love ice skating.
No, the first time that I ice skated was when I was 8, and I just didn't like it.
Do you ever rollerblade?
Oh, I roller skate quite a lot.
Okay, it's a little bit similar. You know, your ankle isn't quite as sturdy.
Right.
So I feel like you're at higher risk of hurting your ankle when you ice skate just because the blade is so thin. But I feel like it's kind of the same motion.
Okay.
Maybe you'll have to try that out this winter, huh?
I shall. Well, that's all from Midstate Magazine for this week. I'm your host, Kyle Peck.
And I'm Kayla Neitz. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.